more. And when I think of those words, I think of so many amazing women we are surrounded by and blessed to have in our community. Today, my guest is Sumbel. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I can't wait for you to hear Sumbel and how amazing she is. And so we're going to get right to it. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sadaf. Thank you for having me here.
Of course. I want the viewers to hear about you, amazing things that you're doing in the community, so much good. And we are, inspired by you. And I want the viewers to hear about you. So can you share with us, we're going to get right into it, like I said, can you share with us your story, who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Sumbel, Sumbel Aurangzeb, and I'm from DFW. I'm born and raised. I went to SMU for my undergrad. I did political science. I knew I wanted to do something governmenty, politically, something.
I like that word, governmenty.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought I would go to law school. So I did. I went to law school for like a year and I hated it.
Okay.
So then I was like, okay, what could I study to still, go towards that field? Mm-hmm. So I did a master's in public administration at UNT. They have a good program. So I did that. And I work for the United States House of Representatives. I work for Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, who most people in DFW know her because she's been around for a very long time.
She's like one of the most seasoned members of the House, right?
Yes. So she's the the most senior delegate from Texas.
Okay.
And one of the most senior members of the House. And she's the chairwoman on the House Committee of Science, Space, and Technology, and she's a ranking member on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee as well. So I am in charge of her district projects, which basically means I come up with events or projects for the constituents. So her constituency, if, for example, we might come up with something for students from, an elementary school, students in high school, scholarship programs. There's a lot of events for seniors, providing them with resources, for veterans, lower income households. So I work on that. I also had her Asian Advisory Committee, which is fun. Yeah. I basically identified different leaders from the Asian American community, and we get together 4 times a year, and they're able to tell Congresswoman about any concerns that they have, and she's able to tell them about what it is that she's doing in DC. So that's what I do full time, and then I'm also the president of an organization called the Muslim Democratic Caucus of Texas. So that's a great organization, and we support Democratic candidates here in Texas, and also those that are nonpartisan, like in city elections, like with your run in Frisco. And I do a little bit of volunteer work with different organizations.
A little bit.
Yeah, I do some volunteer work with different organizations or different candidates, trying to help them out. I really do think that it's extremely important for people from our community, people from minority communities, if that's, be that religious or ethnic, that we are engaged politically at every level. So when I see a good candidate, I really do want to help them out. So, for example, I was so excited about you running. So yeah, that's what I do.
Well, thank you. I mean, you are speaking my love language, so I totally agree with all that you're saying. No, that's outstanding, all of the work that you are doing. And as a woman, we don't just hold that one role as a career woman. We have so many different roles. And could you talk about some of the roles that you hold, wife, daughter, sister?
Sure. So I got married last year.
Yay, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So
During COVID,
so it had to be adjusted into, my planned wedding did not happen the way that I wanted it to happen. So, but that's fine. So we made some adjustments, and I got married to my husband, Wakas. And but we're still gonna have a reception, inshallah, later, hopefully. But and then I'm a daughter, and my parents have obviously been here longer than I have, and they're in Rockwall still. And then I have a younger sister, an older brother, and a younger brother. And and I'm blessed to have a bunch of aunts, a bunch of uncles, a bunch of cousins, a very large extended family here in Texas and in DFW. So yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. No, that's great. So with everything that you were brought up here with all your experiences and whatnot, there may have been moments in your life that shaped you into who you are today and made you a woman that not only is empowered, but is also empowering to others. And if you could kind of touch on that.
Yeah, of course. The daughter of Pakistani immigrants, and I was fortunate, I think, to have parents who are so supportive. My dad was someone that was very excited about having a daughter, so he instilled in me that I should be proud of my heritage and my culture and my religion and my gender and all of these things. I think I had that upbringing, but then I also grew up in a very small conservative Texas town where, you're basically constantly fed this idea that, because of my religion or because of my ethnicity, I didn't belong, So I think that I kind of, developed something that wanted to push back and assert my identity. Okay. And then, when September 11th happened, I was in high school, and that was a very scary moment for all of us. And that's when I realized that it was more about actual survival of our community, that we needed to be engaged, and we couldn't just be doctors, we couldn't just be engineers. We needed to spread out, and that included in government and in politics.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think about when I was growing up, an MPA wasn't a degree that you could ever think of, and the only reason my parents agreed to an MPH is because it had health info.
Right.
So I completely can vouch for that.
Right.
So that was childhood. Did you feel like, did you feel like you had a complex, or no, it was always just, you're just going to push through it and... I don't know. I was so very confident about my background, and about being Muslim, about being Pakistani American, all those things. And then, so I would, I was never, for example, shy about my heritage. I wouldn't try to hide it. I wouldn't try to, say that I was from some other background, which is totally fine. And I know that people do that to, just be safe. But I just was very assertive in who I was, and I think that I just stayed the same. Honestly. No, that's wonderful to hear. Exactly. It's everyone's comfort level, and I think I'm a true believer that if you are firm with your convictions, people will believe in you.
Right, absolutely.
So now let's fast forward to adult life. You are a leader on so many different realms. I think one of the things that you did not share is how proactive you were in rallying women in voting for President Biden.
Right.
And so many other different demographics, correct?
Right,
but I do remember you focusing and honing in on women specifically, especially, I think, South Asian women.
Right, of course, yes.
And so you were very successful in that, obviously. He is our president currently.
Yeah, thank God.
So as a leader in adult life, have you experienced, moments that have shaped you moving forward? Have you experienced anything that may have shocked you or perhaps given you a lot to think about moving forward?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I mean, as an adult and as a person of color, you're in this field, and I guess in all fields, you're gonna deal with people who aren't comfortable with you having a strong voice. And so, sometimes that's because of racism, if it's coming from people, outside of the community, but it can also come from people within the community. And, again, my focus has been primarily with the South Asian community and the Muslim community, because that's what I identify as, and that's who it's easy for me to communicate with and, build a bond with, etc. And I think those are the groups that need more help in this regard. I've had the unfortunate experience this past year of, dealing with some very ugly, misogynistic attacks from some men in the South Asian community here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And, I think that it was, politically motivated, and then also just kind of this weird, kind of cultural aspect where they're just not okay with a woman who's also South Asian being assertive and maybe, knowing better than they do about certain topics. So that's the first time that I experienced that level of kind of ferocious, misogynistic attacks. But it just kind of, it was just an eye-opener that, while I was raised, with very respectful and, polite and mature, surroundings, that everyone in our community is not like that. And that's fine, because honestly speaking, it's great that I work for Congresswoman Johnson, because she's a very, very strong woman, and she's basically taught me that there's people out there who will attack you for being a woman, who will attack you for your race, will attack you for anything. And you just kind of let them bark, and you continue and do whatever it is that you need to do.
Was it shocking to you when you experienced what you experienced?
Yeah, for sure. Like physically shocking. Like I had like a physical reaction because I was at work when I first found out about it, So I remember having an actual physical reaction, like almost kind of like as if I was going to pass out, And I was shocked to see, we were raised, with these ideas that, as Muslims, we treat each other a certain way, or that even just in the South Asian culture, we have a certain level of
respect.
Yeah, respect and manners, and it was, I've never been spoken to in that way or addressed in that way by anyone, including just like, anyone from the general public. So it was shocking, and it really did make me realize, like my gender even more so. And it did make me realize that being a woman, in a leadership role, this is how some men and some women will try and take you down, is by just attacking your character, and which is tied to you being a woman. So making suggestions that you're unchaste, which has like nothing to do with anything and completely out of left field, but that's the easiest way for them to try and target your reputation.
Did you feel you were supported by the South Asian community when you were going through this?
So I would say maybe 2/3 of the community. So most of the people that I know and grew up with, because again, my parents have been here for, I guess, since the 70s. And so alhamdulillah, we have a large network and lots of people. So almost everyone out of that group, like 95%, they were super supportive. But then I was shocked by the people that weren't. I was shocked by the people that were basically condoning that behavior, and their message was basically that that's okay, that's what men do, and
wow.
Yeah, and that I should just get over it, and that I should just sue them, instead of complaining about it, which is a really silly argument. In order to sue someone for defamation in Texas, it's first of all extremely difficult. It's like it's nearly impossible.
I know that. I was defamed.
Right. And then even if you find an attorney that's capable and willing to do it, that's a lot of money. And so that's just a ridiculous argument. So and then there was just like just this really odd or reprehensible just just constant misogynistic remarks, about
like you felt like it wasn't stopping.
No, it wasn't stopping, and it was ongoing until recently. And I'm sure they're still saying dirty, disgusting things, because it's not just me that and that's something else I found out. This was repeated behavior, which makes sense. That they'd used against other Muslim women, other Pakistani American women. And then, honestly speaking, I'm glad that I was so vocal about what happened, because I don't know why the community was letting these people get away with those attacks again and again and again. So, it's been a learning experience for sure.
Did you feel that it was men telling you to give them an easy pass, or was it women?
It was men and women. Men and women, which is, we know that women can have this internalized misogyny as well.
We are at fault for sure.
Yeah, and especially against South Asian women, and it's the same thing. Like, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Aurat March in Pakistan, and which is, a feminist movement asking that society there recognize that, the gender inequities which exist in Pakistan, which are awful, awful. The men there, the majority of the men and women, and that's what I meant to say, and women, their response to these demands are, again, to question the women's character, and call them, bad words related to their,
Well, I was sharing with a guest earlier that there is a show that just came out on Netflix over the weekend, and it's called Bombay Begums.
Oh, okay.
And it is, has 6 episodes, and it's the first season, and literally that's what it highlights.
Oh, wow.
Obviously they're highlighting India, but South Asian women in, that are high up on the ladder in leadership, but what they have to go through, and how some have to accept it if they want to move up.
Right. Wow.
And so, it's the Me Too movement, it's all of this, but in the last episode of that season, the CEO of the bank, she discusses how we women are at fault for enabling this behavior.
Right.
And so, I firmly believe in that. I mean, how many times growing up did you hear, well, boys will be boys?
Right.
And that is not okay.
No, it's not. And that's people have a very low standard of what they expect from men or what they expect from boys.
So were you able to defend yourself at all for the accusations that came at you?
I mean, you can only, there's only so much responding that I can do, and, I did respond publicly that, these, comments or defamatory remarks were just that, and, and that they were, it was just basically payback for me, pointing out that these people, were supporting reprehensible politicians. But eventually you stop responding. You just have to, because these people like to sit on Facebook and just constantly comment and constantly just begging for attention, basically. And I have an actual life, so I can't respond to that continuously. But the people I think that actually matter, they know what's right and what's not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're watching Fire Within Her. I am with Sumbel. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
What did you do with the money you saved on electricity by switching to Discount Power?
I took all my friends out to dinner.
I paid off all my credit cards.
I took my whole family on a vacation.
I bought all this.
At Discount Power, saving you money on electricity is our business. What you do with it is yours. Great rates, great service. Simple. Visit discountpowertx.com today and save.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sonia Reddy. We're a full-service practice focused on dental implants, cosmetic veneers, sleep apnea, and braces. If you're embarrassed with your smile or have chipped, cracked teeth, call our office for your free consultation. I'll personally take care of you.
For all your real estate, commercial or residential needs, contact Hassan Sumbel at kw.com or call 972-333-4801. Hassan Sumbel, Realtor with Keller Williams. Glow and Grow with Cheese, a digital recreational platform for homemakers. Follow Glow and Grow on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube because we all could use a little reminder of how awesome we are.
Marine Mill Supply deals in casters and wheels since last 52 years. For more information, contact 9232431374, 9232421821, or you can visit our website www.mmscasters.com.
Solar company has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, OneSolarSolution.com. Which solar company offers in-house financing with the best rate and easy approval? OneSolarSolution.com. And which company has the best looking brand ambassador? No one else. OneSolarSolution.com. Look, I know you want solar, and everybody does, but you might think it's expensive. If we can't match your electric bill with our in-house financing, we'll cut you a check or gift card for $25 just for the try. Go to OneSolarSolution.com today.
Welcome back. You're watching Fire Within Her. I'm your host, Sadaf Haq, and today's guest is Sumbel. Thank you so much again, Sumbel. We were in deep conversation about some incidences that had happened earlier this year with some misogynistic moments. And one of the things that really struck me is you had said that you had a physical reaction to this. And a lot of times we think, oh, mentally you're being affected, which you are. Can you kind of highlight the physical reaction that you felt? I know you touched upon it earlier, but just to.
Yeah, I mean, so when I first, basically, people from the community or even random people started messaging me screenshots of these, defamatory remarks while I was sitting in the office, and they were so heinous that I couldn't breathe. I was lightheaded. It was probably a panic attack now that, I look back on it. It was just, you just felt, it was a feeling I had honestly never felt before because I had never experienced that before. I'd never been subjected to that level of, of vileness ever in my life. And again, it was, it was really, I think it was worse because of where it came from, you have to keep it together, and you have to, finish your day. And, but that I would say up till, maybe even maybe a month ago, this was still really, really upsetting me and really, really bothering me to like the point where, I was, when I closed my eyes to sleep, I was thinking about it. Wow. I was constantly thinking about it, and I think that's what those people's goal is to basically harass you until you're just I guess until you give up. But alhamdulillah, again, I have a very supportive husband. I have a very supportive family, and I didn't grow up with weak women around me. I grew up with very, very strong women. Some kind of nasty, mean, a group of guys isn't really going to, make me stop doing the good work that I do.
Well, and I was going to ask, with the family foundation that you have, was it hard for your husband to see that?
He felt sad, but his initial reaction was that he was very angry, and he wanted to know how it was possible that they could say something like that, and he wanted me to take care of it right away, and let everyone know. Let everyone know what their actual character was like. So he was very supportive in being aggressive in that way, and he just felt bad for me that that I had to deal with something like that.
One of the words that we hear often is cancel culture. Do you feel like you were responsible for that cancel culture that people have accused you of?
No, and I think cancel culture is a term that people like to use in order to avoid responsibility for their actions, and that they also like to use to basically, it's a cue to let their kind of far right-wing political supporters, it's kind of like a rallying cry, like, support me, I've been canceled, so that type of thing. So I think that was, something strategic that was used. And, these people, it's just so funny and it's so ironic, complaining about cancel culture. And then they tried to get me fired from my job, They contacted my employers directly and posted all over social media, and asked other people to contact my job too. So they were trying to cancel me, but
what was your employer's response?
They just thought it was ridiculous. The question was, did you use like congressional resources or government resources to do anything? No, you just stated an opinion. And they also thought that what is his name?
We're not saying names.
No, the politician's name. That the politician question.
Right.
That was absolutely horrible, and it was just. They actually also said that they just felt bad that I had to deal with someone like this.
So one of the things that I can attest to is situations like this, moments like this, only make you stronger. Right? We cannot allow these situations to break us.
Right.
Moving forward, how will these, attacks and inflammatory and defamatory moments, you think, shape you moving forward?
Like you said, it just makes me stronger, and more aware. More aware that just because someone acts, let me see, what's the word, charitable, that really doesn't mean anything. It could just be something that they're using to hide their actual character. So to kind of have a more keen eye when judging people. Honestly, it was just a bad experience. And I definitely know who my friends are afterwards, and I know who not to waste my time with as well.
Yeah. Any regrets?
Any regrets? I regret any regrets. No, sometimes I wish that sometimes I wish that we lived in a different time and place where you could just kind of smack someone around for something like this. But no regrets.
No regrets.
Yeah, for sure.
So this show is about empowerment, and obviously you were empowered growing up. If you're not empowered, you you are shy to use your voice, right? And we are taught, use your voice for those things that you want to stand up for, you believe in, right? And who do you think you would attribute that, that inspiration and motivation to?
I mean, definitely my mom.
Okay. My
mom is, we're Punjabi, we're Kashmiri, we're, Laraki, so, she gets everything done. She always has gotten everything done. She doesn't let anyone, treat her poorly. She doesn't let anyone close to her be treated poorly. I definitely learned it from her. My grandmothers were like that, so definitely just, my actual family. And then, you meet so many women in your life that I think, have helped turn me into the person I am. Like, for example, I remember, I told you I went to a pretty conservative school, but, I had one teacher who was a person of color. She was Black, and she was my speech professor. That's it.
Okay.
Speech teacher, sorry. And I'll always remember her. And I'll always remember what she taught me, and and I always remember thinking about how it must have been for her to be the only person of color teaching at that school.
Yeah.
And there's just so many different leaders. You speaking, that you ran for city council. I admire you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
So much. And just so many women. Every person, I guess, that I've got to interact with, especially the community leaders, nonprofit leaders, they've all rubbed off a little bit.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. And I think that's how we as people evolve and we grow. And then we're able to identify those who are doing good work and to be able to highlight them. And, that's why I thought of you. And I see so much potential in your future and the fact that you are inspiring so many people, like the next generation, essentially. And I think that's extremely important.
Right.
Sumbel, women empowerment, and not just women empowerment, right? Obviously, your mother, your parents empowered your brothers as well.
Right.
Advice to those that are watching you, maybe they can relate to, your experiences, good or bad. But what is one word of advice that you could give to our viewers?
I want to talk a little bit about the political engagement aspect.
Absolutely.
And I really do want to encourage more people from the Pakistani community and the Muslim community to consider running, and especially the women. I had a conversation with Mayor Sumbel Siddiqui she's the mayor of Cambridge, Massachusetts. And she said something that I thought was just so on point. She was saying that when women want to run, they sit around and they're like, I don't know, am I qualified? Should I run? And then she said, men, when they want to run, they just run.
Right.
Even if they have no business, they have no business running. So I just want to encourage girls and women from our community to run, and the parents, for you guys also to foster that in your daughters and encourage that, because we need more representation, and hopefully, inshallah, Sadaf, you're going to run again, right? So
right now I'm taking a break. I am enjoying meeting people and speaking to people and being empowered. So, so thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you.
You are watching Fire Within Her. This was Sumbel. Until next time, stay tuned.